VLOOKUP is
used to merge in vertical values or column values from another table. Here is an example. So we want to fill in this table. The values are from another table here. Let's have a look. We put in VLOOKUP. If you're not familiar with this function, you can check this question mark and it will show you all the details and also examples. So for VLOOKUP, we actually have 4 parameters here. The search key will be the value used to match. In this case, it's going to be the city name. And then the second, it's a range, means where do we want to search this match value. So in this case, it's going to be this mapping table. And the third is index, means the column index of the value we want to have the return value. So here, if we choose this whole table, it's state, it should be column 2. And last one, it's optional, but sometimes it's very important. It's either false or true. The default is true, means it's an approximation match. And if it's false, means it's an exact match. Okay, let's see how we can do this. As I just mentioned, the search key will be the city name, and the second will be the range. So here, since we want to have state information back, you have 2 ways. You can only choose these 2 columns, or you can choose the whole table. But since we also want another 2 values, here I will choose the whole table. And then the third will be the index of the column. So in this case, it's column 1 and 2. State is 2. And I also want an exact match, so I will put false there. So now I get the information I need. And Google Sheets actually give you a suggested autofill. You can accept or not. But you see there's a problem because we do say Boston shows in this table, but it didn't pick up. The reason is the autofill actually changed the range. This is what we call absolute reference or relative reference. So in this case, we actually want Google Sheets to always check this same range. So therefore, we need an absolute reference. Let's fix this. So let's remove this. What we need to do is we just need to change the original function, the formula. Instead of relative reference, we change it to absolute reference. Means you just add a $sign in front of the range. And now we got it. And then if you check suggested autofill, this time Boston, we got the value in. Okay, so this is how VLOOKUP works basically. The only limitation is VLOOKUP only merge in 1 column each time. So if we want to merge in multiple columns, we have to repeat this process. So let's say how we do restaurant and hotels. The fortunate thing is it's the same table. The only difference is the column index. So that means we can actually reuse this formula. Copy and paste. And the only difference will be the column. So instead of column 2, now we want values from column 3. Similarly, we do suggested autofill, get everything in. I highlighted this one because Seattle is not in this table. You should get an A. And similarly, for the hotel and motel, it's the same. We just need to change the column index to 4. And then, voila, we got everything in. So this is the basic example of VLOOKUP. Now let's move to the example 2. So this time, it's still the same, but the difference is the range table. As you can see, this time the state is actually in front of city. And if we want to merge in city information, it's going to be actually a problem if we use VLOOKUP. So we do the same value, right? and we do the range as the definition says. But now the problem is we don't have an index for the column because the index column has to be positive. But now you see it starts from the city, and this column is not actually right. If we put 1, let's see what will happen. So you see, no. So in this case, VLOOKUP it's a little stricter than XLOOKUP, I'm going to mention later. The merged value or the search for value has to be on the very left, and all the information you want merging has to be on the right of the search value. So in this case, the state is on the left, you can't really get it in if you don't change the order of this table. But for these two, the remaining two, it actually works. So it's the same. So we now know everything. We can check the whole table, hopefully. And it will be column, I think it's column 3. No, you see, it doesn't work this way, all right? Why? Because you actually have to put in the range starts from the search value. Means we have to select this part instead of the whole table. And this time the column index will be 2. Now you get everything. So similarly, now we know this is a absolute reference issue. Just add $sign and redo it, get everything. So this one is the same, so I'm not gonna repeat. So pretty much that's VLOOKUP. If you really want to put the state information here, so you have to change the order of the mapping table. XLOOKUP is an upgraded version of VLOOKUP. It can merge in multiple column values from another table. So let's take a look at this example. Here we want to do state similarly, and we just put XLOOKUP. So if you are not familiar with this function, you can check this question mark and take a look at the definition. It has many parts here, but the most important parts are the first 3 or first 4 if you want. The first one, it's the same. It's a search key, means which keyword you want to use to match. And then the second is lookup range, means where we want to check this keyword. And the third will be the result range, means which part we want to have the value returned. In this case, it's going to be a column. And then the missing value means how you want to replace the missing. The default is MA, but you can change it to anything you like. And the match mode means it's exact match or not exact match or something else. So the default here it's 0, it's an exact match. So compared to VLOOKUP, the default is approximate match, and we have to use true or false. Okay, now let's take a look at this one. The keyword is going to be city value here. The differences starts here. So the lookup range in this case, it's going to be city value. So instead of this whole range, we just want to check city column. So you can do it like this. That's the city column. That's where we want to search for this keyword in. And the third part will be the return value. So here we just want to state, and that's this range. We want to return the state column. And voila, that's it. So you see we got it. Of course, you can do the autofill, but similarly, you will have this absolute reference issue here. So either fix just add $sign in front of both range. And we get everything. So say the NA here is a missing value, but as we remember, there is a parameter we can actually specify what we want to use for missing. So instead of NA, maybe we want to say not found. So this is more elegant. Okay, so this is how VLOOKUP is used for return one column value. But actually, we can use it to return this 3 columns value at once. And this is how we do it. But be careful, the column order has to be the same like this one, because the value returned will match the order in the mapping table, not here. Okay, so let's remove this and redo XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP, search key, same. So now we want to search the city value, same thing, same range. And another way, if you want to avoid to do the absolute reference, is you can just search this whole column. Yeah, like this. So you don't have to add $sign in front of them. It will always check this whole column. And now the trick is the returning value part. Instead of returning one column, now we can specify we want to return all 3. It's from B to D. So you can select all these 3 columns. And that's it. You see, we got all 3 filled in at once. Let's check your work here. Yeah, so the values are correct. But remember, this order, the values will be filled in based on this order. If you change the motel here, so the values will be different. You have to match the order here. So similarly, you can drag it down for the whole row and you get everything. So now if you check the formula here, you don't have to worry about the absolute reference. It will always check the whole column. But of course, if you want to change it, you can also use the range. So instead of using the whole column, you can still use the old way. But just remember to add $sign. So similarly for this range, and if you want to specify the not found, it's the same. You can do like not funded here, like no value. Let's say same. You just drag down the formula, and you get this one. Yeah, it won't fill in for this remaining 2 because we don't have a formula here, but you can simply do this if you want. Okay, so you see that is how XLOOKUP works. Personally, I find it much more elegant and easier to understand, or much more user-friendly. Now let's move to the trickier example VLOOKUP couldn't handle before. So the state column now is on the left of the city column. In previous example, we know you can't use VLOOKUP to do it because it has to start from the keyword column when you use VLOOKUP. But it's not a problem for XLOOKUP. So this is how we do it here. XLOOKUP. And the keyword is city. Then we want to search this keyword in this column. I will just make it simpler. And now the third parameter is which column we want to return. So this is easy. it's not the index, but actually it's the actual column. So we can actually select this column, and that's it. You see, now we get everything in auto-filled. We also get all the values we need. So that's how simple it is. And then for the remaining two columns, we can repeat XLOOKUP one by one, or we can do it at once since they are together, and you say they are together in the mapping table. So this is how we do it. XLOOKUP, search the keyword. We're going to search the keyword in the city column, and now instead of returning one column, I want to return these two columns, and they are the same order, so it will work. Here we go. And you just drag down, get everything. Okay, so similarly, if you want to fix the missing value, or instead of using the whole column, you want to use a range, it's fine. Let's look at a more complex example. In real world, both VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP functions are mainly used to do table merging. So this is a table. It has a list of city, and we want to merge in these 5 different columns. And the columns are from 2 tables. The first table has state, restaurant, and hotel motel information. And this is the second table, which has the population information and some other information here. So mainly we just need these 2 columns. Okay. Of course, there are multiple ways you can do it. You are welcome to use either VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP. But personally speaking, I prefer XLOOKUP since it's an upgraded version. So this is how you do it. One way is you can merge in one by one or multiple if you prefer. So let's say XLOOKUP, the keyword is city, and state, we know it's in mapping file 1, and we want to search the keyword in the city file, and then we want to return state information. Okay, we got it. Drag it down, we get everything. And you know at this point, VLOOKUP won't work because it's on the left of the keyword column. Okay, so for the remaining, let's say for this one, restaurant and motels, they are together and they are also in the same order, so we can actually use XLOOKUP to get both values at once. Keyword, search the keyword column, and return both columns. Also, you will say instead of columns, we also have the table information because it's in an external sheet. And now we got both. And we got it right away. Okay, so for this remaining 2, because they are in the different order, so we can't really do it at once. If you want to do it at once, you have to change the header. So let's try 1 probably. So you can do 1 by 1. Keyword. So this time we will search the keyword or we match the keyword with the name column. And we want to return the 2020 information. Here we go. Okay, then you just repeat for the remaining column. But as you can see, it's a little tedious. Another way you do it, or in reality, we actually have to clean or reorganize the order first before we do the merging. So for example, here we know it's from 2 tables and we want to save our time and effort. I don't want to repeat the XLOOKUP. So at most twice. So 1 for each mapping file, that's what we need. But in that case, we need to have the column order matches with our mapping files. So this one is like 2020, 2022. You can either switch their order here, or you can switch the order here. So for me, it's easier to switch it here. So I will just change the order, let's say 2020 and 2022 and 2020. So let me remove all those. Now I know these two, I can put it together right away. And then we have the remaining three. So we know these two columns, they already match the mapping file, only the state doesn't match. I can put it at the end and delete this. So you see now we do this at once, but this one, it's still a little issue because in the mapping file, it's not the same order. So one way we can do is you just change the order. Yeah, you can keep it like this, it's fine. And then we do merge. So this time we only need to do 2 XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP, keyword. And we know this is mapping file second. We'll search the keyword here and return these 2 columns. You see, now we got both. Drag it down. Everything is already there. And then one more XLOOKUP for the mapping file 1. Keyword, search keyword in the city column. And now we want to return all 3 columns in this exact order. Here we go. Now we get everything. Yeah, of course, you can twist this table to whatever format and layout you want afterwards. Okay, that's pretty much